Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be doing something fun and a little bit different. I thought we'd do an eyeshadow palette tag. This one was started by Samantha Marsh in collaboration with Allie Glines. This is the All About My Palettes eyeshadow palette number 2. I did do the first one. I will drop a card somewhere up here so you guys can check that one out if you want to. Warning, that was before I had like my lighting and everything kind of situated, and quality in that one is like not good. But if you would like to check that one out, it'll be up here somewhere and down in my description box below. And basically what this is that there are a series of questions or topics, and you basically pick a palette based on that particular topic heading, and there are 11 here. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First of all, what do you guys think about this sweater? This was a gift from my father. He got my daughter one too. It's not the same color, but it's the same design but a different color, and it's open in the back. And I usually do not wear sweaters like this, so I'm feeling a little bit out of my comfort zone. It feels like it's a little kind of big. Like if this were a small, I usually wear a medium. This is a medium, but I feel like if it were small, it might fit a little bit better. But you know, kind of stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit. I think it's cute. It's just not something that I'm used to. But the first question is, what is your all-time favorite palette? And as of right now, since, you know, really getting into makeup, I will have to say it is the Naughty palette from BH Cosmetics. This was their Christmas palette launch in 2020. There was a smaller palette that went with this that was called the Nice palette, and it was a little bit smaller. That one I didn't get. This one is so special. First of all, I love the ugly sweater theme on the outside. But this color story, it is absolutely beautiful. There are so many unique shades and tones in this palette. You can do a look all the way from a soft, everyday, natural look. You can do something a little more grungy. You have your reds, your oranges, you have your purples, you have your grungy greens. The shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. This one right here, which is called Candy Fruit, it still feels super creamy. Do you see that? It's a very foily shade. Oh my god, it is just so beautiful. And the shade Mistletoe, which is kind of it's a green iridescent shade. Look at that. Oh my god. All the tones in this palette. The mattes are buttery. It is just a beautiful, stunning, unique, just very special palette. I was not excited about the Mrs. Claus collection that came out this past Christmas. It just didn't feel really special, especially after all the other tons and tons of launches that BH Cosmetics did in 2021. But this one is super special, and I just love it. Next question, what is your new favorite palette? And it is this one from I Love Revolution, the Mulan palette. And not because the formula is revolutionary or all that great, but simply because it is a Mulan themed palette. I am a huge lover of Disney. Mulan is my all-time favorite princess. I have Mushu sitting up there. I'm gonna keep him up there for a while. I cosplay 3 out of the 4 costumes from the animated film. I haven't cosplayed in a couple of years because of the big P, but usually I'm part of this group, and usually we go and we dress up for children's events, children's hospitals, things like that. And Mulan is my favorite. And I love everything about this palette. I love the book format. It's just like the Tiana and the Little Mermaid palette that I already have, but it opens up like a book. You have blushes on this side, shadows on this side. The only thing that I would say is missing, and I didn't mention it when I did the video trying this palette, I wish the shade right here says Guardian Dragon, instead of this being a highlighter, I wish that was a red blush, because that's the only thing that's really missing out of this palette is a deep, rich red blush. But just because it is Mulan, this is my new favorite. Keeping for the memories, it would have to be the Naked Urban Decay Cherry palette. Now I do like this palette. I'm not saying that I don't, that I dislike it by any means, but the main reason that I hang on to it is because this is a gift from my husband. It's just a beautiful cherry themed collection. Now cherries I think of as being red, so I would say that there should be some red in here for it to really be a true cherry themed palette, but the tones and the shades in here are pretty. This is, like I said, this is a gift from my husband. We were at Ulta one day and he saw this and he was so excited and he was like, honey, oh my God, look at this palette. It is on sale. I think these colors will look so pretty on you. What do you think? Should I get it for you? And I said, sure. And so he went ahead and he got it for me. He was so excited about this palette. It's been a while since I've used it, but I do love the color story. I do think it's pretty. And even if I didn't like this palette, I would still keep it simply because it was a gift from my husband. But I do like the color story. I think it's really pretty. The next category is underrated, and I chose basically an overall underrated brand, period, is Malibu Glitz. Malibu Glitz is it's an independent brand. Their products are like really, really budget friendly and affordable, and I chose one of the palettes that I have, and this one is the Sherbet Dreams 35 Color Beauty palette. I love the packaging. I love the theme. This one reminded me of the Ice Cream Dreams palette from Glamlight. At first, I thought that maybe it might be a dupe, but the shades and the mattes in that Glamlight palette are more pastel. These you can see are deeper, richer, more vibrant. There are some pastels in here, but mostly they're like, you know, primary deep rich shades. The mattes in here blend like butter. I paid $11.99 for this. I got this from Shop Cherry. If you don't know, Shop Cherry is similar to Shop Miss A, except a lot of the products are way above $1. Like I said, this is $11.99. The mattes in here blend like butter. They're so pigmented. They're so saturated. These shimmers, I had to clean my hand of the shadows that I had before. Sorbet, oh my word, these feel literally like butter. They are so freaking creamy and smooth. They're just so shiny and foily. Especially this shade right here. This is one of my favorite shimmer foil metallic formulas in all of my palettes I currently own. If you have not tried Malibu Glitz, give them a try. And if you are lucky, you might find them, you know, in Burlington or TJ Maxx or Marshalls as well. But they're an affordable brand with a gorgeous formula. Highly underrated. I love this brand. Not a favorite, but can't get rid of. That would have to be the Exposed palette from the Color Workshop. I have mentioned this a few times in my eyeshadow palette declutter collection videos, makeup videos, stuff like that. This was a gift from my daughter. This came from Five Below. This is one of the worst formulas, just worst palettes I've ever owned in my life. Powdery, chalky, formula-wise, it's just not a good palette at all. And I will say Five Below does have some really good formulas. This just wasn't one of them. My daughter got this for me as a Christmas gift about 3 or 4 years ago. It was right before I really started getting into makeup, and I will never forget her face. Her eyes were so lit up. She was so excited on pins and needles, just waiting for me to open this because she was so excited to give this to me. She gave me this and this really kind of chalky powdery contour palette. When I opened this, she was so excited to see my reaction. She just couldn't wait for me to open this. Yeah, this is not a favorite. I don't like this palette or the formula at all, but I just can't get rid of it. I will be keeping this until the shadows just turn to dust and fall out of the pans. This just will not leave my collection. Favorite collab, hands down, that would have to be It's Freaking Bats with Batty Bean and Shroud. Mine says Butte Bean. At the time, she was still Butte Bean, but a couple of months ago, she rebranded and now she is Batty Bean. You guys, this palette, it is everything. When you look at this palette, if you follow Batty Bean at all, Betty Jean, if you follow her, this is her in a palette. This is exactly what you think of when you think of her. I love this kind of spooky cover on the front and this color story. Very, very Beetlejuice inspired. Beetlejuice, Nightmare Before Christmas, those are like some of her favorite films, favorite genres. Shroud Cosmetics is a smaller, independent brand. When this palette came out, she was a one-woman show. It was just her, but I think now she has a staff that helps her. Look at these shimmers. Look at this. These are so foily and wet. Oh my God, the Shroud Cosmetics formula is absolutely stunning. I'm wanting to try more palettes from the brand, but everything is always sold out. I remember when Betty Jean first made the announcement on this palette, I was just so proud of her. I started following her about 2 years ago. She's a small YouTuber and she works so hard. She like really deserved this. I was so excited for her. And it's a wonderful company with a beautiful formula. I love this. First runner-up was the Christy Colourpop collaboration. I almost put that in here, but the Batty Bean X Shroud palette. It's just a little bit more for me. 2021 favorite would have to be the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. I had to really think about this because I did do my top 10 palettes for 2021, and as you guys remember, if you saw that video, I did not rank them because it was really hard. But when it came to the palettes that were in that top ranking, this was just the one that I loved the most. Beauty Bay is a UK brand, and this is from their in-house brand. They do have other brands that they sell on the website. This palette was like $18. Very inexpensive. And this color story, you guys, it is just so pretty. The mattes in here are very smooth. I didn't really have any trouble blending. I also have the Opal palette, which is like over there somewhere. This one I like just a little bit more. And these shimmers in here, they're also very creamy. You see that? Look at that. Look at that, you guys. This shimmer right here, which is called Lime. Look at that. Oh my word. I was very surprised by the quality in this palette, especially when you consider how inexpensive it is. $18 for this quality. You just can't beat it. Didn't expect to love. Yeah, this one was surprising for me, and it is the Stone Cold Fox palette from Colourpop. I love warm toned, neutrals. I am not, or haven't been, a cool toned neutral girl. I just didn't think that the cool tones would look good on me. I thought the warmer tones just suited me best. They warmed up my skin. The cool tones I felt like would just look off on me. But I grabbed this palette on sale. I thought, you know what, let me give it a try. The worst that can happen is, I end up not liking it. There are some warmer tones in here, but for the most part, this is an all cool tone palette. I ended up loving this palette. I was very surprised by how much I loved it. When I put together a look with this palette using these cool tones, they looked I was very surprised at how good the tones looked on me. It really brought out my eye color. They ended up being absolutely beautiful on me. I was so surprised at how much I loved them. And since then, I've pulled out this palette a pretty decent amount of times. I've tried to use like the different shades and tones in here to try to make different looks. And you can make a lot of looks with this. They do have the That's Taupe palette. There's another one that has more cool tones in it. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name right now. Those are more curated. These shades are probably in those palette, or those palettes are pretty close to it. So it's not, you don't need, this gigantic, huge, what is this, 35 pans or something like that. When it comes to a palette that I was surprised by, I was not expecting to love this as much as I did. We have 3 more categories. The next one is the palette that sparks joy, and hands down, it is this one. The X Revolution Beauty London Kombucha Eyeshadow Palette. This sucker is big. I haven't seen anybody talking about this. I just happened to see it on the Makeup Revolution website one day when I was looking for something else. And I just fell in love with all of these tones, especially the orange shades. You guys know I am a lover of orange toned blush, orange toned eyeshadow, orange toned lips, orange. It is my favorite makeup shade to apply. Anytime I see any makeup in orange, I get excited. These 2 blushes right here, oh my god, they are stunning. This one right here is a pure pumpkin orange. Like if you're looking for something that's a pure pumpkin orange for like Halloween or something like that, this shade right here. This kind of a burnt red shade, that is really pretty too. The highlighters are pretty. The only thing that I will say about this palette is they could have probably cut this down by about half. There are a lot of shades that are very similar to each other. Like several of the shimmers look very close. A lot of the mattes, in tone are very similar. There's a slight difference in tone, but the tones are close enough that they probably could have cut this down by about half and made it a smaller, more curated palette. But when I see this palette and all these beautiful orange tones in it, it just sparks so much joy. I love this palette. The next category. What is the newest palette in your collection? And that would have to be the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop Pistachio palette. I actually picked this up when I did that shopping vlog. I had mentioned at the end of that video that the part where I did the haul disappeared. I have no idea what happened to it. I also grabbed the Mint Melt Primer from e.l.f. as part of that haul as well. I don't know if I recorded it and it got deleted, or I thought I recorded it but I actually didn't. But this is part of that haul. This is, like I said, the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop Pistachio palette. I had the cherry on top and the orange sorbet. This one is the green themed palette. I wanted it when it first launched, but it sold out, and then when it restocked, it sold out again, so I missed out both times. And I was very excited when I saw this. I got this at TJ Maxx. When I saw this, I had to snatch it up. I think it was like $7.99. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to have this. It's not new as far as launches, but it is the newest palette that I've added to my collection. The last category, the first palette that you used in 2022. There are actually two, and the reason why I included both of these is because I used both of them at the same time. In that video was my New Year's video where I was talking about my goals and intentions and stuff for 2022. And they are the Lottie London My Little Pony palettes. You have Only Dance on Days Ending with Y and Friendship Is My Jam palettes. This is my first experience with the Lottie London formula. I got them mainly because of the My Little Pony theme, and also because I did want to try the Lottie London formula. With this palette, I got these from Ulta. This shade right here, it came broken, but I was able to fix it. I have to say, I wasn't exactly super thrilled with how these palettes performed. I used the blue in that video, and oh my god, it just kind of, it stuck and didn't really move. Like, I applied it to the outer corner and I'm blending like crazy, and it's just not really going anywhere. I ended up taking this shade right here and blending it with it just to kind of see if I can blend out those edges, and it still didn't really blend very well. The shimmers in here, both the palettes didn't really have much of an impact. I used shades from both. I used the blues in this one, and I used a couple of the purples in here. Overall, I just was not impressed with these. I don't know if this is indicative of the Lottie London formula as a whole. I mean, their other palettes may be absolutely stunning and just wow, knock my socks off. But my first introduction into the brand wasn't a very good one. These definitely were, they did knock my socks off. These were not very good. I was not very impressed with this formula. Alright guys, so that was the eyeshadow palette tag, all about my eyeshadow palette tag, part 2. Make sure that you check out Samantha Marsh's video and Allie Glines' video. Michelle Wong also did one as well. Samantha and Allie mentioned that if you do this tag, tag them in your description box so that way they can go and check out your videos as well. So I am tagging all of you to do this particular tag video. It's a nice fun little way to pull out some of your old palettes, think about, you know, what you thought about them, think about some of the memories associated with those palettes. It's always nice to do something a little bit different, a little bit more fun, that's not just about, you know, applying makeup, which I do love, but these types of videos, they're a nice, you know, little break, a little fun experience from that. If you like these types of videos, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you are new to the channel, you are not already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider hitting subscribe and join my little family. And also, don't forget to follow me on my other socials. I am on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All the links will be down in the description box below. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.